Hey guys, this is Casey and welcome back to the channel. Today, after the unemployment numbers were released, the House of Representatives suddenly pulled an about-face and are finally ready to approve a second stimulus package. Round of applause. See, if they're going to do so, they have only 11 days left in the month to pass the package and to get it implemented. And that's because Congress is taking recess in the month of August, and then we have the upcoming 4th of July holiday that's taking place. So we have to give them sufficient time to approve it, to get it signed, to get it put into law, to get it on the president's desk, and to get it put into the system so that people can begin receiving their payments and so forth. Now, if you guys watched my video that was released yesterday, you'll remember that I stated today's unemployment was a very critical number. And that's because Congress is highly depending on the numbers to determine how much the economy will need and how certain it is that they're going to need a second stimulus package. And after Congress saw the numbers today, they apparently feel that we definitely will need one. You see, up to this point, Congress has been divided. The Senate, who is predominantly controlled by the Democrats, have been well on board with implementing a second stimulus package. So much so that they created one from top to bottom, developed it, and signed it, and actually sent it to the House of Representatives to be signed all the way back in the middle of May. Well, once the House of Representatives looked at it, they were kind of on the fence about whether or not they wanted to sign it. They wanted to determine the unemployment rate down the road, and they wanted to kind of do a wait and see approach. Well, we finally got our C approach, and that is it's going to be approved. And that's excellent news. Because up to this point, everyone was kind of on the fence. Well, not anymore. If you do a breakdown of the unemployment numbers that were released today, the top number, which is adding the total millions of jobs, well, that paints a slightly positive picture of unemployment. If you take a look at the numbers, the U.S. added 4.8 million jobs last month, and the unemployment rate dipped to 11.1%. But economists, they note that the data was collected at the middle of the month, which means it doesn't reflect the entire economic impact from the sudden surge that we've had in the recent weeks and the business closures that have followed as a result of the coronavirus. Not only that, but we've had a number of rollbacks for different states. The roll forward of opening up the country, the businesses, well, they've completely stopped that at this point. As a matter of fact, some states are even getting worse, such as the state of Texas that I live in Florida and California. Now, if you do a weekly breakdown of the jobless claims, it shows a more accurate picture. It shows that 1.4 million people filed new unemployment claims for the week ending June 27th, which is actually slightly higher than what was anticipated of 1.3 million new claims. So that's another 100,000 people that the economists weren't expecting to file for unemployment, filed. Now, what do these numbers really mean? Well, collectively, they don't mean much, but they are a precursor to the answer that everyone really wants to find out is how likely we're going to see one? It's all but guaranteed. That's how likely. So much so that President Trump himself had reconfirmed just yesterday that he is on board with another stimulus check, and he reconfirmed that it's going to be very generous. Now, this suggests something that's likely very close to being signed behind doors. Or else, why would the president come out publicly at this point and state that he's on board and that it's going to be very generous? He obviously has some discussions with the House of Representatives, who he is a Republican, and has gotten some type of feedback as to exactly what the semi-final signatures and numbers are going to be. Even the senior White House advisor, Kevin Hassett, said during an interview all the way back in the middle of May when numbers weren't as bad, he stated that there's definitely going to be another stimulus package. And he said this after surprisingly positive job reports. So that also confirms it. So at this point, we have the Democrats who've been sitting there pretty much at the table with their arms crossed, waiting for everyone else to kind of wake up and get to the table. We have the president who came on board weeks ago that said that he's on board with the second stimulus check. And he said that it's going to be very generous, which I think Americans are going to be very pleased to hear. And in addition to that, we finally have the third piece of the puzzle, which is the House of Representatives themselves saying, yes, we absolutely have to get a deal done. Listen to some of the statements that some of the main Republicans stated today after seeing the unemployment numbers. Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican of South Carolina, said, and I quote, "We need to get off our ass and get this done." He said that. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who is a Republican for Kentucky, he's been particularly hesitant. He's been one of the main stalwarts about jumping headfirst into creating a second stimulus package because he wanted to wait and see. Well, he indicated this week that they're going to push a package across the finish line. These are the main people who were on the fence that really control the direction of the House of Representatives. Well, no more. This wait and see approach that Republicans had, well, that's pretty much over. So at this point, it's just a foregone conclusion. We're going to receive one. Now, I'd like to go over the HEROES Act that was approved back in the middle of May and go over some of the high-level items that are likely going to be in the finalized stimulus check and stimulus package agreement that's set to probably be approved next week or the week after. So, honoring our heroes, $1 trillion to the state, local, and territorial and tribal governments who need funds to pay the vital workers, first responders, health workers, teachers, and so forth. No-brainer, great to have it. Another one is the HEROES Fund Act. That is for the essential workers. It establishes a $200 billion HEROES Fund for everyone who's basically essential. First-line workers, doctors, assistants, I think even grocery store workers, everyone who keeps our economy running, that keeps us up and functional. Testing, tracing, and treatment, $75 billion for the corona testing. No-brainer. More direct payments. $1,200 family members, $6,000 per household. I think we already know that. That's probably going to be definitive in the final package. I'd be shocked if it weren't. Protects the payrolls. So this ensures that employers who hire people can't lay you off. It gives them additional tax incentives, if you will, for keeping you employed. That must be nice. And of course, there's going to be higher stringent funding provided by OSHA for the enforcement of cleaning and cleaner work environments. So that's a good deal. And then there's going to be some additional funding for small businesses, not-for-profits, also additional coverage for health care. Unemployment benefits is obviously going to be extended. This is a really big one that we all know about. And the housing assistance. This is a questionable one. There's been some debate as to whether or not this $175 billion is going to be included or not, or if they're going to just do that in a smaller amount. Who knows? But if you guys are interested in just kind of going over this, feel free to pause the video, take a look at it, and they should give you an idea as to what they're planning for the second package. Now, we're going to continue to wait. We should probably hear something in the next few days. More than likely, probably in the next week or so, what that's going to be. The numbers are going to probably come out very fast, very aggressive. Some of the anticipation or the numbers, or I should say, of what what the stimulus package is going to entail. If it's anything like the package that was approved by the Democrats back in the month of May, it's going to increase the dependent amount. So if you guys followed the last video, you'll notice that I mentioned that previously the dependent amount was only $500, but they're now looking at approving that to $1,200. They are also discussing extending the unemployment benefits all the way until the month of July of next year. Now, if that doesn't get approved, a lot of Republicans have been really on the fence about extending the unemployment benefits all the way out until July of next year. There was an additional addendum that was added today that was proposed by the Democrats that they're going to extend the unemployment benefits across the country, but they will begin to stagger those as the unemployment lowers in your specific state. Actually, not only are they going to lower it, but they said that after it gets below 6%, then they'll remove it altogether. So that's kind of the tiered, staggered approach that is being presented right now. My estimation is that they're in the final approval stages. We should be hearing something probably here in the next few days or a week or so. And some checks should be coming. So guys, listen, I can't thank you enough for listening to the video and watching the video. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure that you hit the subscribe and like button. This is our financial education channel. As of recently and as of late, we've been following the stimulus package very closely. We want to ensure that we're giving you guys the latest information in regards to anything that gets approved or anything that gets confirmed with the package. And the moment that we hear that it's been approved, you guys are going to hear first on this channel. So I can't thank you enough for that. In addition to following the stimulus package very closely, we also follow a lot here with financial education. So anything dealing with credit cards, with how to improve your credit, with investing, with saving, with how to manage your money, and just overall anything with financial news, you guys are going to get here first. So thank you so much if you got to the end of the video. Please make sure that you like, you subscribe, and also comment as well. We love feedback on our videos. We want to make sure that not only that you guys are enjoying the content, but that you're engaged and that you also have your opinion and your ideas shared also with the world. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later. Take care.